Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing? Just give it a second and see if we're going to get some viewers in here. We are live and ready to roll. Hope everybody's having an excellent Saturday. It is a day after a great day yesterday. We got snow in here in Mississippi. It was pretty awesome. It was a lot of snow, right? I got my share of rolling around in it and getting very cold, but it was real fun. So I'm sure you guys did too, and have a lot of stories about that as well. All right, just got to do a little small talk and see if we get a couple more. All right. Well, all right, it's 12:04. All right, let's get started. Today, we're going to be talking about health matters. As you know, my name is Terry Floyd Patterson. Some people call me T. Floyd. All right. I'm glad to be here talking on such a needed subject, which is the subject of health matters. We are with the Vision-Driven family. Thanks to them, Philip and Janice Porter, who are the pioneers of a Vision-Driven Family Institute, who talks about educating family leaders to fulfill their family's purpose, build wealth, and empower generations. So I'm so glad to be able to just be over the health part of that initiative, because it is as important as the wealth building mechanism. They go hand in hand, and both should be held in high regard. All right, because you need your health to maintain and build your wealth, and you need your wealth so you can get the things so you can maintain your health. So both go hand in hand. So today we'll be focusing in on the health initiative and what can we do to change the game or reverse the curse, so I say. Which is very imperative in such a time as this. We get ready to go into a new year. You know how we say, new year, new you, right? But this is a perfect time to be able to talk about some of the things I'm going to. We make lifestyle decisions as opposed to temporary diet decisions, or that will give us temporary benefits, but not longevity benefits. So we're going to be talking about how do we change things for tomorrow or for the future, more so than just changing it for the moment. All right. So anyway, with that being said, I do have to put out this disclaimer for legal regulatory reasons. So all of the information that will be discussed with you today are for educational purposes only. I do have to make sure I get those legalities out of the way. With that being said, all right, so we're going to go ahead and talk. Today's topic, I'm sure you know, is I like to say building generational health through knowledgeable and proactive awareness. You guys know as well as I, to have a knowledge of a thing and then to know how to use it, it makes all the difference. So it's very important that we understand this thing called anatomy, and then know how it functions, and then know how to make it function better. Would you agree with me that we all have, most of us have been failing in that area, and we know that to be so because of the statistics that are listed, initiated by the CDC and the American Diabetes Association, things like that. What we say, numbers don't lie. And so the numbers, which we is how much of a real epidemic it is, and we're going to talk about how can we change the game, and how can we reclaim our families and ultimately impact the nation. So, and we got to do it on a cellular level. There's a phrase that said, true health reform don't start in the White House, it starts in your home, which is very, very, very prevalent, right? Health reform does start in your home. It starts at your round table. It starts when we start having the conversations about health matters. And we need to start having them more. So we're going to talk about that. If you look behind me on this side right here, that little picture right there, it has such significance. You see that's like two trees. I'm going to move over a little bit so y'all can see that. See the shorter tree and then see the taller tree. It says to me, I don't know if it says what it says to you, but the more you know the more you grow. And so when it comes to the anatomy or the human body, the more you know about your body, the more you're able to grow and develop it so that it can give you the efficiency that your body's supposed to give you for the endurance of your life expectancy. So anyway, so much information to cover. We don't have enough time to cover everything, but this is just an icebreaker. This is just a start of hopefully of a plethora of information that you need as well as I moving forward in the days to come, because you guys know that the world's not getting any better. It's only getting worse, right? All right, so what are we going to do to instill some good qualities within our families to be a healthier people for days to come? All right, so with that being said, thank you, Janice, again. Thank you, Philip Porter, for this opportunity. And let's get started. All right. Before I get started, I want to talk about an initiative that the CDC put out. This is back in 2010, December 2010. They put what they called a Healthy People 2020. And it basically, they had 4 goals that they wanted to pursue. And it as listed: attain high quality, longer lives free of preventive disease, disability, injury, and premature death. Achieve higher equity, eliminate disparities, and improve the health of all groups. 3, create social and physical environments that promote good health for all. And finally, number 4, promote quality of life, healthy development, and healthy behaviors across all life stages. That's what the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Department of Health and Human Services put out back in 2010. All right, so that's real big. That's real good. Now we want to kind of go over stats, and I'm gonna just talk about 2 of them. I will tell you this: the CDC did put out, I think it was last year before last, that every child that was born in the year 2000, by the time 2017, which we're here now in 2017, every child that was born in the year 2000 will be diagnosed with diabetes. By the year 2020, let me repeat that. All right. Every child was born in the year 2000, every 1 1/3 of them will be diagnosed with diabetes. All right. By the year 2020, every 1 1/3 of them will be insulin dependent. Now, that was put out by the CDC last year. And so if you know as well as I know that we're in a crisis and we got to do something. And if we're going to do it, we got to do it on a cellular level or on a family level. And we want to talk about some of those things with you today. I want to go over a couple stats and then we'll move forward, okay? Thank you, guys. The National Diabetes Association. These are facts that it's estimated over 30.3 million people have diabetes, which is 9.4% of the population, of the U.S. population. 23.1 million of them are diagnosed. Undiagnosed is 7.2 million, which equates to about 23.8%. Heart disease. The number of adults diagnosed with heart disease in the United States, 28.4 million, which equates to about 11.7% that are diagnosed with heart disease. Some serious numbers, right? Very serious numbers. So what are we going to do about that? How are we going to lower those numbers? How are we going to change the game? How are we going to reverse the curse? All right, I'm going to tell you how we're going to do it. This is how we need to do it. Is first thing, would you agree with me that there has to be an understanding? And I think, I teach. Let me give you a little bit of background about myself before I go any further. All right, I was formerly in the restaurant business. I was in the restaurant business over a decade. I produced various spices and sauces during that period of time. So I learned food. I learned food quality in my origin or in the area of fast food or American cuisine. Life happened. I have 3 children. I had a daughter that was diagnosed with epilepsy at the age of 2. And so we went through a series of just trying to help her, get better so we can get off the medicine. It was just so much that we had to do to the point, and I will say at this point, I'm actually giving a general, so I won't go so in depth in my situation. But just to let you know that when it comes to being in this field, this is purpose. This is not a field that I chose. This was actually chose for me. I myself am considered a health reform myself, just from recovering from a lot of ailments. Some of you know some of them, some of you don't know some of them, but I will tell you guys when it comes to having kidney issues, when it comes to having high cholesterol issues, when it comes to having joint issues, when it comes to being asthmatic, bronchitis, I was a part of all of that, and all of it was a result of me being malnourished or having poor nutrition. So anyway, just to kind of tell you a little bit about me, I am a certified fitness instructor through International Sports Science Association. So I'm kind of well-rounded. I understand. I did some intern with the local health store here, which is called Vitamins Plus. Some of my mentors are Dr. Kirby here, who was a naturopath. Britt Brandon, Dr. Bob Marshall, Joel Furman. These are some of the people that I actually get a lot of my information to, a lot of my studying, and I'm furthering my education in the field of nutrition right now. So I'm teaching right now culinary arts. So every day I get a chance to teach students, and I said all that to say this. When I'm in my class and I'm teaching my students about food and in the regards of health and spices and herbs, and how they're not only good for flavoring, but they're also good to benefit the body. And, I'm finding out that our children don't have a clue about, the spices and herbs, as well as they don't have a clue about what's going on in them. You know, I had them do a project on the 5 vital organs, which is our lung, our kidney, our heart, our brains, and our brain, right, and our liver. I had them do a research the 5 vital organs. I had them to research at least 5 spices and or herbs that benefit those organs, those particular organs. Watch this, and I had them actually to devise a recipe that aids those organs, those particular organs. So it was a really good experiment, a really good time for me to be able to impart wisdom in them about spices and herbs, because you know as well as I know, back in the days, and that's what we were all about. You know, grandmom and grandpa, they knew about all these remedies, and that's why, you know, we were a lot less sicker than we are today. And so how do we get back to the basics, whereby we instill some of these good quality of life and within our kids and within our families? So I hope that makes sense to you guys. We're going somewhere, guys. I'm just kind of building a bridge, and then we can actually move forward, okay? Thank y'all for bearing with me. So I will say this. I'm going to pull this. I hope you guys can see this. I was supposed to be at a different location doing this presentation today, and I had a big blackboard I was write on and draw my diaphragms and do everything on. But I ended up having to move locations, and I'm here. Y'all like the way I decorated the place? All right, hope so. But anyway, here's my diaphragm. I don't know if you can see this right here. I hope so. Okay. All right. First of all, you see it in the corner here. All right. That's a quote by Hippocrates. Okay, and it says that a wise man ought to realize that his health is his most valuable possession. I think, and that was said a long time ago. The reason I think he said that, because he knew that we were going to forget or take for granted the very thing that matters to us most, which is our health, right? You know, there's 2 times that parents or people never argue when it comes to a person, and that's when a child is conceived. You know, now, we may have our preferences. I may want a boy, I may want a girl, you know, for whatever reasons. But you'll never see 2 people arguing over, you know, the child being healthy or not. Everybody's in with one accord. Everybody always agree that the child be healthy, right? And then during the time where grandma and grandpa is in their older age, no, everybody's standing around their deathbed praying that their faith won't fail, or praying that God will restore their health, right? Or when somebody gets sick in the hospital and they're on their dying bed, we praying that their faith, that their health will restore, right? So those are 2 times that are. But in between the time a child is conceived and someone's on their dying bed is the process by which we drop the ball a lot, you know, because we take for granted and we pay attention to a lot of other things that are majors to us. And a lot of times health is not one of our majors. And we know that because the stats prove that they're not a major. 2/3 of our population are sick. 2/3 of the population, American population, is sick. So that shows us that we as Americans, or we as people, we don't pay enough attention. And I think the reason why we don't pay enough attention to it is because we really don't understand our setup and our and how the body functions and how to make it function better. You know, that's the difference between American medicine and Chinese medicine. Chinese actually teaches about the function of the organs and how to make them function better. So it's very important that we learn that, because if we learn that, we'll 9 times out of 10 we'll make better decisions on the foods that we choose, right? to help aid and benefit them to keep them functioning better for the longevity or for the duration of our life cycle. So with that being said, I'm going to try to hold this up and I'm trying to go over this with you. If you see in the middle of this circle, I got here optimum living, or purpose right there. Purpose in the center of every cell of every family, you'll find your purpose, right? And from your purpose, everything else around it is built upon, right? So when it comes to your health, understanding your purpose is very prevalent. But see, a lot of us try to understand our purpose, try to go straight to understand our purpose, but we miss all of this around here. But all of this will lead us right to the center, which is right to our purpose. So I want to kind of depict that and kind of go over that and talk about the first thing that we have to do when understanding our body or our anatomy is we have to get knowledge of it. We have to understand every person in every family should at least know the 5 vital organs. They should know how they function and how to make them function better. Every person in every family should know that. The parents should know and the kids should know. Why do I say that? Because we come in this world with this body. We leave this world with this body. So why wouldn't we want to know about something that's so significant and something that's so important and to all society? As a matter of fact, everything that's created in society is created because of you and I. That's the only reason it's created. It's created. They create machinery for you and I. All right. They create vehicles for you and I. Right. All right. And they pattern a lot of that off of our blueprint. You know that, right? The engine of a car is patterned off of our blueprint, right? Everything, the way the caterpillar works, the way it grabs, right? Reach down and grab is carbon copy from our blueprint, right? So all I'm saying is there should be an educational moment, ongoing educational moment, not once a month, not once a year, but it should be a daily educating within our homes and within our families, whereby we have roundtable conversations talking about our health, our bodies, and talking about how do we set up a system to make our bodies function for the longevity of the time that we're here on Earth. What's wrong with that conversation? I think the conversation needs to be had, and we need to have it more. I have an analogy. Say I'm your father, and I drop you off what kind of car? What's the prevalent car in this time? A Bugatti. Okay, let's say I drop you off a Bugatti. I drop it off. I put it in your yard. I give you the key to that Bugatti, and I say, "Here you go. I love you. Take care of this." And then turn around, walk off, and leave you with that Bugatti. Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to be excited. You're going to be in awe. Why? Because you got such an expensive piece sitting in your front yard, right? Such an expensive piece sitting in your front yard. Watch this. You're going to have a little anxiety because why? You're thinking like, oh, this is a nice car, but I don't even have a clue how to use this. I don't even have a clue, so I got to be very careful of how I approach this, right? You're going to want to drive. You want to crank it up, hear how it sounds and everything. You may even take it for a little spin. But then what's the next thing you're going to do after you do all that? You're going to reach straight in the compartment and grab the manual out of there. And what? You're going to go to school, right? You're going to study the features of that vehicle. Why? Because you want to make sure you understand how to use it. So what? You don't create error. Because this is an expensive gift that my father just dropped me off. The same way we'll do with that Bugatti is the same way we're supposed to do with this body. Oh, that rhymed. Okay. All right. Anyway, but the same way we do the Bugatti is the same way we're supposed to do this body. We're supposed to learn how the body operates and then learn how to make it operate more efficiently. All right. When you start in the manual, one of the first things you're going to do is find out what type of gas you need to put in that vehicle, right? Because if you put the wrong type of gas, you might get some spitting and sputtering, right? Does that make sense? All right, I'm saying something. I'm going somewhere, guys. I hope you understanding what I'm trying to say to you today, because this is very important. And if you take it and you apply it and bring it to your families, I'm telling you, man, and we start creating conversations about health matters, it will change the game, and ultimately it will change generations. I'm going to tell you how to do that in just a few minutes, okay? All right, anyway, so, but like I said, there is a manual that comes with us, all right, that was written by our Creator, and we all know that the body is precious. You know, a lot of us, we get overwhelmed when we start to learn about different things about our body that we didn't know about, and we were like, that's too hard and that's too complicated. It shouldn't take all that, but it does take all that. It's not easy, just like life is not easy. It's not easy to take. Now, once you get into it and learn the system of your body, your system and how it functions and how it works, and learn that your body is on a cycle, and learn how to give it what it needs and the nourishment it needs, and it'll continue to work, you know, properly for you. Now, once you get into it, it becomes easier. But the initial beginning phase, that's a tough phase, man. That's hard because there's so much to learn. And if we didn't learn it as a child, most of us didn't go past biology class. And most of us who took biology class only took it and learned things we need to learn so we can pass the class. And there's only a few that went into the area, the biology pre-meds and chemists and things like that. But for the majority of us, I was one of the ones that didn't pay much attention to it at all. And so now I'm trying to go back and redeem the times, right? Because I'm understanding the anatomy of myself puts me in the driver's seat. Now, once I understand how my body functions, now how do I take this food that's supposed to be my gas and my oil and my transmission fluid, and how do I put the right type, right, in my tank so that I can get optimum efficiency? And that's what we want to shoot for: optimum efficiency and optimum living, right? So we must get the knowledge of our anatomies, and then after we get the knowledge of our anatomy, then we got to understand the food. So that's a whole different course within itself. All right. So what this would do at the round table at your home, in my home, it'll create conversation. It'll make us have to put these phones down and talk to each other about the foods that we are consuming, right? That's very important because we hadn't been talking about it. Guess what? The businesses and the manufacturers have been creating the things for us, right? And serve it to us and bottle up in a nice shiny red apple and saying, this is good for you, take it. But what we don't understand is they're in business for business, not for you. They're in business to make money. All right. So since I've been in business for well over 10 years, I understand the business mind. Okay. And the business mind says, I'm going to make an investment as minimum as possible in hopes to maximize my profits, right? So whatever I got to do in accordance to guidelines and or the law, which is the FDA Food Administration, right? I'm going to do whatever I have to do. So if I can add preservatives. Why? Because that's going to allow my foods to last longer. Why? Because that's going it's going to give me the opportunity to make a return on my investment. So that's how a business mind thinks. All right. So, and I want you to understand that because that's on that's behind the scenes to understand that a lot of these foods that were created for us wasn't created to take care of us. It's created to make money. Please understand that. Now the industry is changing more now, and they're becoming more health conscious. Why? Because we are in a crisis. People are dying prematurely, right? People are sick beyond measures, right? And then guess what? And they're saying it's set to rise. It's set to magnify over the next up and coming years. By 2020, I'm telling you guys, if we don't do something on a cellular level or on a family level, because that's what true health reform starts, it's going to only get worse. But anyway, I'm holding this paper up. So anyway, because I do want to kind of go over. So the knowledge about a thing. The next thing we got to do, and notice I went counterclockwise, right? Because if you understand the way it worked when it comes to numbers, counterclockwise represent positive, clockwise represent negative, right? And so we've been going in a negative direction, which have been getting us negative results. And now we want to reverse the curse and go counterclockwise, right? All right. So after you learn about the knowledge of your anatomy and food and how both of them correlate and go hand in hand, now we got to come over here and we got to implement what we've learned. That means put into practice on what we've learned. When we start learning about foods, you know, when I was going through my process and actually start coming to the knowledge, hey, that I got to do better by my body. I got to do better, because if I don't, then I'm on abort mission. And guess what? I have a purpose. I have a purpose of why I'm here. And if I'm going to maximize my purpose and be efficient in my purpose, then I got to not only have the knowledge, but I got to start practicing on what I learned. Right? I know it's kind of hard to see this, guys, but just follow me, okay? For some of you. But I have to put in practice on what I learned. And after I implement that in my life, that's trial and error, learning. Watch this. Because you see that right here, it says subtraction. I had to learn what to subtract from my life and what to add to my life. What to subtract, that's taken away from me, and what to add, that's going to add, right, nourishment, what's going to add to my, to boost my metabolism, to boost my adrenals and things like that, of that sort. So, and then after that, then I got to come here and I got to walk in the wisdom, and I start experiencing the benefits of what I've learned, right? So do y'all know in between each one of these segments, there's a process, right? That's why that arrow that goes from here to here, the timeline that goes from here to here, from the knowledge of knowing and learning about food and anatomy to implementation. And after implementation is a whole nother process. In that process, there's going to be a lot of trial and error. There's not perfection only comes, and perfection means maturity, okay? Don't mean none of us going to be perfect. So what we're talking about today is not eccentric. We're not talking about vegan. We're not talking about anything. We're talking about balance. We're talking about a balanced nutrition. We're talking about a balanced lifestyle. And that's what we want to aim towards going forward in this. And that's what we want to teach within our families. How do you be balanced within your homes? How to be balanced within the type of foods you eat? And so that is very important. And let me keep moving here, okay? So you start walking in the wisdom and experiencing the benefits of what I've been learning and what I've been practicing on. After that phase, you come over here to reproduction. See, a lot of us been just going straight to the reproduction part without learning. So which means we've been reproducing, we've been having children, we've been, reproducing bad health. We've been reproducing the wrong thing. And so, because what we're supposed to be producing is actually stronger genes, right? So that we can pass on stronger genes to our children and their children and their children. But the generations have been getting weaker and weaker and weaker, right? We know that Scripture talks about that it's going to get worse and worse, but we understand that. But the reason why it said that, because Scripture knew that we were going to forget about us. We're going to forget about us. We're going to lose sight of us. And that's our biggest problem. We don't know how to take care of ourselves. Would you agree with me? We don't know how to take care of ourselves properly. And so, and then when we go to the doctor and the doctor tells us, you got to take care of yourself, we get overwhelmed because there's so much information that he's given us. And I got to try to implement this now after I've lived a lifestyle for years of the wrong direction. Now I got to turn around and go in the right direction. And all I'm saying is it can be done, but it got to be done when we go back to the basics. And the basics is going back to the knowledge of understanding our makeup or our build, and then understanding the food that is designed to basically nourish and take care of us so that we can optimize our life, okay? All right, and then from there, from reproductive, which means teach others from lifestyle first and experiences. This is when we're qualified to teach others from our lifestyle and from our experiences of how to live a healthier, better, purposeful life. Okay. And then from there, we go back to what? The beginning. And that's what it calls a cycle. So the body is a cycle. It just keeps reproducing. All right. Reproducing, which means if I live a healthy lifestyle, right, and I practice this and I teach others, right, I'm going to reproduce that within other people, and then they're going to reproduce, and then so on and so forth, right? And so as it keeps going around, multiplication happens, right? And then, I make aware somebody else, and then they go make somebody else aware, and they go and make somebody else aware, and they go make two people aware, and so on and so forth. This is how we reverse the curse. This is how we do it. It's a strategy, guys. It's a strategy. And we have to create strategies if we're going to move forward. And so when we're talking about developing strategies for generational wealth, there have to be strategies to talk about generational health. We can't just be living frivolously and on Russian roulette, because that's how we've been living. Wouldn't you agree with me? Some of the students, most of all my students, when I ask them, what is the primary function of their heart? You know what the answer most of them gave me? It keeps me alive. That's general, and that is correct, but it's not specific. It's not specific. And so, but that goes to show of why they have no clue on what type of foods that they need to take in to stimulate that heart, to keep it function, to keep it vibrant, to keep it working for them, right? In a strong and efficient way. But here's the kicker. It ain't just the kids that don't know the 5 vital organs and their function. A lot of the parents don't know. Like when I first started down my path, I didn't know until I developed a major UTI. I didn't know anything about my kidneys. Didn't have a clue. I took biology in school, but it was just enough to pass the class, right? Because that wasn't on my radar. It wasn't, my endorphins didn't go over to say, oh, I need to know this, why, for optimum life. It didn't get taught to me like that. All right. And then I didn't receive it like that. Why? Because it wasn't a discussion within our homes, right? It wasn't a discussion. So if it wasn't a discussion in our homes, most of us, especially in the African American community, we're just trying to survive. We're just trying to survive. We come up, a lot of us come up poor. So we're just trying to survive, right? And so we don't have time to go over this. And then mama trying to work to pay the bills, to keep us, with a roof over our head and clothes on our back. So we ain't got time to break down the anatomy in your body and how it works and how to make it function and work better for you, And the more people I talk to, a lot of them didn't get the same thing. Now, we're not blaming anybody. All I'm saying, the ball has been dropped. All right. And we got to pick it back up, and we got to do it purposefully. We got to start learning about this body that we live in every single day. It's the most important thing on this earth. It's the best asset. It's the greatest asset. So why would we want to know about the greatest asset that we have, that we're living in every single day? So with that being said, we do have to move forward, because I could talk all day, as you can see, right? All right. So with that being said, I'm gonna list on my on my page as well, Health Matters Most. I'm gonna talk about some of the foods that are prevalent for the 5 vital organs. Let me tell you something. And this how it was taught to me, and this really helped me. It took a lot of the anxiety away from me, because when I first started on this path, I was overwhelmed, and I was like, it's too much. It's so much. And then my doctor telling me I'm going to be on meds for the rest of my life. And then I'm looking at the side effects of the meds and how it's going to, this is going to help this area, or it's going to watch this. It's going to, keep the area regulated or at bay, but it's going to affect another area, possibly, most likely it's going to affect another area. And so I'm like, for long, I'm gonna be taking 2 pills. Now the 2 pills gonna turn to 4, and then 4 gonna turn to 6, and that's a sign of old age. I'm 36 years old. At the time I was 36 years old, I'm like, I'm too young to be taking all this medicine. I don't want to do that. And so my nurse practitioner gave me an ultimatum. Well, if you don't want to do this, then you got to do this. And so I'm competitive. All right. So I told her, all right, I'm willing to do it. Now, at the time, I didn't know it was going to be so much, you know, in the process and so much to learn, but I was willing to do whatever it takes or whatever it took so I don't be able to take pills the rest of my life. I just didn't want to do it, man. I just didn't want to do it. I saw my grandfather, he was diabetic. All right. I saw him have to take insulin shots, you know, and so there's a whole nother story, and I can't get into all that today. So I'm trying to keep it general because I'm time stricken today, but it's going to be other times for me to really get in detail and really break down so I can help you understand more about me and to understand why I am on this path and why am I so passionate about you learning about you. Please understand me. When I started on this path and I started to learn and started to grow on this path, I had a lot of companies, network marketing companies coming at me, wanting me to promote their product, wanting me to promote their stuff. And I declined all of them because and let me tell you why I did that. Because I didn't want you to think that the only reason that I was doing this is because I'm trying to make $1 from you. I wanted you to know that I was authentically and that I'm authentically trying to help you and trying to help you focus on you because you are important and your health is important and your health does matter. And that's why this initiative called Health Matters Most it was given to me, y'all, by our God. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it until the day is done, because I know we need this. We need help. I needed help. And I know if I needed help, somebody else needed help too. And the more people I talk to, man, I'm finding out, man, they sure do, man. They sure do. And here's my biggest receptors are people who don't believe like I believe. Let me explain that to you. People that are not in the church are easier to talk to than people who are in the church. Now that's just been my experience. Okay, please hear me. Okay, most people I talk to, a lot of people I talk to in the church, respond to me as if God don't care nothing about that. They say He care about just the spirit and getting souls saved and blah 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 blah, which that's important, and that is the main thing, right? That is the reason for the season, right? All right. So but yet and still, if He want to use us, he want to use a what? Healthy body, right? A healthy temple, a body that's clean. Okay, a body that's pure, a body that's able to function and it won't break down on Him. You wouldn't drive a jalopy. If you had a choice, would you drive a jalopy to Chicago from Mississippi? No, you want a car that you know is efficient, right? That's more than 9 times out of 10 gonna make the distance, right? And so the same thing it is with our body. We got to understand that our bodies are very important and we got to do better by our bodies. Here's the nugget. If we take care of our bodies will take care of us, right? It'll perform better for us. It'll help us, give us the things that we're looking forward to give us anyway, right? Which is, we want to be able to finish our task, whatever our task is, what our purpose is. We want to be able to think clearly. We want to be able to function, right? We want all these things. We want our body to do all these things, which it is designed to do. But in the body's looking at you, on the other hand, if you'll never allow me to speak from your body's perspective, I need you to give me the nutrients that I need so I can continue to work for you. That's what our bodies are saying to us. It's saying in the form of a headache. It's saying in the form of migraines. It's saying in the form of irregular heartbeats. It's saying in the form of kidney failure. It's saying in the form of liver failure. It's saying in the form of gallbladder, gallstones. It's always talking to us, but we're always ignoring it. And the only time we pay attention to it is when it ails us or when it hurt us. And then after that, all we want to do when we go to the doctor is we want the doctor to give us something to get rid of the ailment or get rid of the pain that, that's been caused, because it's caused you anguish and it's causing you agony, and you can't do the things that you know you need to do because why? There's something blocking, there's something stopping you. And then when the doctor gives us all the things we need to do to make sure we maintain that, then we're looking at him like, oh my God, I ain't know it's gonna take all that. Just give me the pill, doctor. You know what I'm saying? Just give me the medicine. I don't want to do all that. Because what he's trying to do is trying to tell us, hey, if you don't do X, Y, Z, you're gonna end up back in the same predicament, if not worse, right? And so we got to start to pay attention to detail. And so when it comes to the body is so detailed. The body is so detailed. And so the more I'm learning about this thing called anatomy, the more I learned that, man, we are amazing people. We are amazing people. The fact that we have blood running warm in our veins, that runs continuously, and we don't have nothing to do with how it runs. We don't have nothing to do with how the heart beats. It's simply amazing. So, I hope you are getting the gist and understanding that health matters is very, very, very important. And it's not so important just to say, okay, yeah, it's important. We got to do something about it. We got to start having conversations at home around the table. We got to start becoming students again, learning about health. All right. You may not be as eccentric as me. All right. Because I'm on this path. Okay. So I'm going to aspire to learn more. Right. So, but everybody needs to know the basics of their anatomy. While all of us are yet different, all of us are yet the same in our foundation, right? Everybody has a heart, everybody has lungs, everybody has liver, and so on and so forth, right? And so we didn't know the function of those organs, and then we need to know what makes them function better or what makes them function efficient for the duration of our life expectancy. And so all of this was to clearly to say that your health matters most. Our health matters most. We got to do better by it. And it starts today, not at the beginning of the year. All right. Before, and I'm going to say this is going to be my last example. Before I started on actually really trying to be healthy inside out, I was more concerned about looking the part of being healthy. I was more concerned about my physique and how I looked and wanted to be able to have the muscles bulging and all of that. And when I actually went into the doctor to get my checkup, I thought I was pretty healthy because, hey, I worked out. I looked good. Everybody complimented me. And so when my reports came back, and to find out that I had severely high cholesterol, and she told me that I could have fell into a coma at any given time. But I felt fine and I felt normal. And if you looked at me from the outside, I looked normal. And so it hurt my heart. My heart dropped to the floor because it was like, dang, I'm thinking I'm fine and I'm not. But see, a lot of other stuff was happening to me, but I was ignoring that. The major UTIs and all, I can go down the line. But we heard it over that, heard it over this. And so I thought I was fine, but I wasn't. And so not until I started to team up with the things that were on the inside, it started making the things on the outside look better, form better. And so when I was struggling to try to make things work or make things look like I was trying to make it look on the outside, when I started to work within myself, it made everything on the outside a whole lot easier. And so all I'm challenging you today is start to focus on those things that you don't see, because those things that you don't see that you take care of will make what you do see respond and look better and look the way you want it to look, without all the stress, without all the of trying to look like society tell you you're supposed to look, right? the makeup industry is $1 billion, and not $1 trillion industry, $1 billion industry. You know why? Because all of us trying to enhance something that if we just paid attention to what's in us, it automatically will perplex that anyway. The clothing industry, $1 billion industry. You know why? Because we try to clothe and cover up stuff and try to hide stuff. Why? Because we don't want to do the work to take care of the things in us, because when we take care of the things in us, it will automatically work the things that we really don't like about us on the outside. I'm just saying, take away the stress. It takes away the stress, lower your cortisol levels, right? So you can, so you can work, more efficiently, so you can do the things that you're supposed to do. And so I challenge you to start focusing more on you, to take your health seriously, to actually focus on your family, focus on your children, making sure you understanding the foods that you're eating, and understanding, hey, the do's and the don'ts of what you should be eating, how you should be eating. When is it good to splurge? When is it good to take in? Because when you're talking about balance, that don't mean I eat everything just all good. That means on a daily basis, and I wish I had time to cover proper nutrition. I will give you a general oversight that what a healthy diet looks like, which is more fiber, less carbs. I will tell you that. More fiber, less carbs. And the carbs you take in are what we call complex carbs. And that'd be for another teaching. If you follow me on my page, I'll be sharing all the things that I'm talking about and kind of giving you a more specific and give you more meat in a lot of things I said. So if you follow me at Health Matters Most, you can join our closed group and like our page, Health Matters Most. Also follow Vision Driven Family Institute. They'll be doing various seminars on the year up and coming, talking about wealth building and talking about empowering families and generations to come. All of that's important, but also we'll be talking about health matters within our communities, within our churches, definitely our churches, because our churches need to be teaching this. They need to be teaching that your body is a temple and that you're supposed to take care of that body. That's a gift to you that was given to you by God. And we all know that what gifts are without repentance. So just because we say the body is sinful, don't mean we're supposed to not take care of it, okay? We're supposed to care for our spiritual man as well as our physical man, and both of them work hand in hand. So with that being said, I thank you for listening. I hope you learned something today. I hope it pricked your minds. I hope it pricked your heart to go and research and learn about yourself, so that you may focus on you and in turn help you to start focusing on others the way it should be. Hey, I'm Terry Floyd, and remember, your health, our health matters most. Thank you.